It's Jean Kuhn, and we are back for another Milk Crate Business Moment. And today I have with me Jess Reidell from Jess Reidell Coaching. And Jess and I met, it's really kind of funny how we met. We met through my coach, right? And you were working for her at the time, and just kind of I found a heartfelt friend there when when we got together and chatted for a few minutes. So, Jess, I don't want to spend too much time talking about your business because, first of all, I want to get right into your Milk Crate moment, but I also want let's get into what your Milk Crate moment is or was. So, what was your biggest Milk Crate moment? And it can be anything. It can be any part of your business. It could be from now or 20 years ago. It could be, maybe it's around hiring. Maybe it's around whatever that is for you. I don't know what that is.
Okay, well, I think I know what it is. There's
Oh,
probably a couple, but I'm going to tell you about the time I opened a business with zero business strategy, no business plan. I went all in, Jean. I went all in. It never occurred to me that I would fail, which I guess that's sort of a good attitude to have. But I rented a space and I
oh,
opened an office, and I'm like, I'm in business.
what were
I'm
you doing?
a life coaching. Okay. And
Oh my
like,
gosh, you rented an office too.
oh yeah. Oh
Okay,
yeah.
well, let's talk about that. Tell me more.
All the way. Okay. So yeah, I just kind of walked the plank, and I had transitioned to part-time and finished my coaching certification through the Martha Beck Institute. And I had a lot of experience running businesses because I'd managed weight loss centers. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll have my own shop, I'm gonna open it up. And plunk down the deposit and had a monthly rent, signed a year lease, no less.
Wow.
Okay. So Jean, 2 months in, guess how many clients I had?
Oh, I'm going to guess zero,
How
right?
did you know?
Because I see this in every single business, right? And listen, Jess, okay, in all transparency here, that's exactly how I started my first, second, third, fourth, and fifth businesses, right? I just went all in with no strategy, no plan. I just like climbed to the top of the mountain and jumped off, assuming there'd be a parachute there waiting for me.
Same thing. My husband had given me some kind of sticker that said "Proceed as if success is inevitable," and I sort of took it as my new mantra. It's like, that's how I'm gonna proceed.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
so I have this office, and I was talking about my business. I was posting online and doing things that I thought would work. That's one strategy, but it can't be your only strategy.
Right.
And what happened, Jean, was I started freaking out. Like 2 months in, talk about sitting down on a milk crate and saying, "Good heavens, what have I done?"
Yeah.
I just wasn't on a milk crate. I was driving Uber and Lyft, like driving around Metro Atlanta, trying to make some cash, wondering if I had made a tremendous mistake.
Mm,
And it was a scary time. And I remember talking to my aunt, who was a clinical psychologist, and I didn't get any kind of comfort at all. I was like, I don't have any clients. It's 2 months. I don't have a client. And she, instead of saying, "Oh, that's normal," or that's how it's gonna go, she's like, "Really? No clients?" Like, it was it was like salt in the wound, rub,
yeah, like
rub,
you're the biggest
rub.
loser out there.
Yeah. So I'm just like, okay, this is an anomaly. But what happened energetically, Jean, is I think my freaking out was having an impact on my ability to
Mm,
allow things to come in, to allow things to flow, because I did have something to sell. Okay, I had packages. So it's not like I was just like, "Hire me, I'm a life coach." I had a niche. I had, a couple very specific problems I was solving. So I did have that covered. But I was in a scritchy panic. Yeah.
well, tell me more because, well, tell me more about how you got out of because if you had a year lease, right? I have had leases in my life, right? Knowing that they don't just like, oh, that's okay, little girl. You right? It's okay if you're not going to make your business. You just go on. Don't worry about the lease. We got you. It
No, no,
doesn't work.
no, no, that was that wasn't the case. And actually, not to spoil the ending, but I did keep the lease for 3 years. So there was that,
Wow.
right?
Oh,
But what happened was, I actually it was kind of an uncanny thing. I got gifted a ticket to a spiritual retreat in Sedona
mm,
by not even a very close friend, but a friend that said, "Hey, I can't go to this. I think it's perfect for you. I'd like to gift you the ticket. You get yourself on out there, but you should go to this thing." And, again, for some reason, I knew that there was something special and important that was going to happen at this spiritual retreat in Sedona. I'd never been to Sedona.
mhm.
So I headed on out there. And I really, really believe, Jean, that what happened there was what needed to happen to clear my energy, to allow me to have clients kind of come into the business.
Oh, that's awesome. So tell us what happened. I want to
Uh,
know what was that spiritual awakening you had?
okay. Okay. Well, I don't know if you've ever heard of shamangelic breathwork or shamanic breathwork.
I have not.
Okay. Okay. Well, I had not either, but I was willing to try anything. I
Mhm.
was like, okay, hey, shamangelic breathwork, let's go. Right. So, what it is, Jean, it's an opportunity. It's a very meditative state where you actually flood your body with oxygen. And it's almost like it almost creates a drug induced state, but
Mhm.
just with your own breath from breathing oxygen and flooding the body with an excess of oxygen. And what that allowed for me, Jean, is I was actually able to hear. I heard voices, no joke. I heard voices. And the voices said over and over, I'm kind of stubborn, as you know, and I think my angels and guides and spirit team and God knows that. So they're loud with me and they repeat things a lot
Mhm.
because that's what I need to take action. I need to hear it over and over and over.
Right.
So the message was, which didn't make a lot of sense to me at the time, but it does now. It was like, you need to make space. You need to make room. You need to make room. There's not enough room for the clients to come in because you're freaking out, because you're in a panic. You're
Mhm.
pushing all of the good away with your energy.
Well, that's interesting from everything I know about, our thoughts become things, right? So,
Yeah, and I took that message and I was like, what do you mean create space, create room? How do I do that? But something occurred in that meditative moment on a mat in Sedona where I felt, even physically, Jean, like something had left me. And what it was the panic energy.
mm,
It was what I like to call the scritch, right? That itchy, scratchy feeling. You're really uncomfortable and things aren't going your way and nothing's working out. Well, it just dissipated.
wow.
And there we were. And I went back to that office, and Jean, I kid you not, within 2 weeks, I had two brand new clients. One, they were perfect fits for the two programs I had created. One did the 3 month, one did the 6 month. They paid up front, and I was off to the races. I had a business, I had clients. Okay. And a third one came in December, and things were rolling. So I just needed to get out of my own way energetically to allow this to happen. And I really do feel like the spiritual retreat played a tremendous part in allowing me to clear that panic energy.
Well, it sounds like it, right? Because what I know energetically is that our thoughts do become things, right? If we don't talk ourselves out of them and if we believe that it can happen. But if we don't believe it can happen in that panicky energy you were talking about, right? You
Yeah.
didn't believe it could happen. It
Yeah,
does.
you're not in belief when you're in scritch, right? Like
Right,
you're in doubt, you're in
right.
fear, you're in lack, you're in all the things you don't need to be in to have business come to you, to allow things to flow into your life. I wouldn't say effortlessly because there is some effort involved there. I don't want to fool anyone and think you don't have to do anything and you can just will things into your life.
Right.
But I do feel energy plays a huge role in how you attract clients and customers to your business.
Now, what have we learned, Jess, about starting a business like that? Because here's what I know, right? I know that first of all, when you're creating like that, when you're in that creation mode, you should be creating your plane while you fly it, right? You're
Yeah.
creating the business, right? I mean, I do believe energetically, like you just said, that this all came from this spiritual retreat and it came to you as you needed it because you had already created these programs. But I would tell people right off the bat, you don't create anything until you know what they want, right?
Correct. Yeah, I hadn't done a whole lot of market research. I just, sort of positioned myself. What would I want to help people with? Not do what do other people want help with? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I will say, I got a business coach, Jean, after this whole thing. I started with her shortly after the retreat, and that was a good call because there was a lot to work through.
Sure.
And this particular coach was a good bit younger than me, but she had the kind of business that I wanted. So she was already sort of modeling things I wanted to do. She was doing sales calls, she was doing outreach, she was closing people into her business and selling, kind of high ticket packages. And I invested an amount of money that made me somewhat uncomfortable. And I showed up for those sessions, and it really helped me in my first year to get out of my own way.
Oh, I love that. So, what advice would you give people, right? What advice would you give people who might find themselves in that same position? I know we've given a little advice right here now, but what
Yeah,
advice would you give people who are thinking, let's talk about life coaches or any sort of coach actually, about
sure.
going out and renting an office and putting it in there and just thinking if you build it, they will come.
That's exactly that's funny you even said that. That was actually part of my talk track as well. I would say build up slowly. I'd say don't necessarily go all in with a financial commitment that you're not sure you're going to be able to meet necessarily. Make sure you have some cash reserve, that you can afford to do something like that, and you have clients that want to come and see you in person, right? 'Cause
Right.
in all fairness, I did have some clients I was meeting with on the telephone and things like that, but no in-person client, no people coming
Right.
to my shop, right? Coming to my business. So my biggest piece of advice would be don't freak out if things aren't going your way immediately. It just doesn't work like that. You're going to have to build up. I would say keep showing up. I think a lot of people try a strategy out for a week or two, and when they're not getting a result from it, they abandon it in thinking it's not working. And you need to keep showing up. And the phrase, if you're not talking about your business, then no one is listening, right? So keep talking about it, keep promoting. Yeah, network and get solid, credible business advice from people who have done what you are trying to do. And it may not be that all the advice is the right strategy for you, but you got to try different things to see what works for you. And don't be the blind leading the blind, because I see a lot of people come on the scene and they're basically copycatting, coaches and healers and other people that have been in business for quite a bit longer, and
Mhm.
they're expecting the same results, and it doesn't work that way,
It doesn't
unfortunately.
work that way. So, Jess, I know that that's not what you're doing now. Do you want to tell us what you're doing now?
Well, Jean, it's funny. I took a whole new direction, and I'm like, it's kind of like, bam, why didn't I think of this sooner? Because in 2020, I took what I like to call a divine detour. And that is when I went to work for your coach in Driven. And I was at that organization for 2 years and sold over $2 million of someone else's coaching products. And again, it's like when I needed cash, my go-to was sales. Go sell stuff, right? And then as I'm selling the stuff for someone else about a year and a half in, I'm like, well, why in the world am I not selling my stuff? And why am I not teaching other spiritual entrepreneurs how to sell? So I have rebranded my business and I call myself a sales success coach because I want to work with people on an individual level, understand their needs and pain points so we can create a sales strategy and a system that is comfortable for them, that works well for them, so that they can be enrolling clients and helping more people.
Which I think is, first of all, you're really great at sales. But second
Thanks,
of
Jean.
all,
I've sold you a few things in
you
life,
have,
haven't I?
right?
Yeah.
You have. Um, but the other piece here is that, oh shoot, I lost my train of thought there. That you're really good at sales, But you know what? I love the fact that you said that you sold $2 million, over $2 million, because when you're a small business owner and you're out there, like, listen, let's go back to the chocolate store, right? When I was in the chocolate store, our average ticket was $8. Do you know how many $8 items you have to sell to hit $2 million? So let's say, can we say years?
Quite a few.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but the other thing is even with when you're working with other coaches or small business owners who have a product that's 197, 297, 397, that is still a lot of product you have to move in order to hit $2 million. So, first of all, high five for you for $2 million. Love that. And I know that you can teach that sales strategy to people. And would you happen to be offering anything around that today?
Great question, Jean. So glad you asked. I feel like we're on an infomercial. This is great.
Yeah.
Yes,
You
I,
have this
I,
lovely phone.
yeah, I have a wonderful upcoming way that you can work with me from anywhere in the world. I am doing a 1 day sales accelerator. It is virtual. It is going to take place on the 23rd of February, which is a Thursday. It goes from 10 to 4 Eastern. And anyone who has a business right now and you're maybe not completely happy with your sales process, or you're not making the income that you want to make, and you need a process that is rinse and repeat, that gets you the clients that you need to have a full roster of business so that you can eventually scale and begin doing larger projects and groups, etc. This would be a really wonderful thing to attend, because we're going to cover everything soup to nuts. We're going to do some messaging, there'll be meditation, and there will be skill building and skill practice. I'm very big on role play. So if that scares you, maybe this isn't for you. But if you're ready to dig in and really refine your sales process and your closing skills, this is going to be a magnificent 1 day event. And the tickets are just $97.
And did I miss it? Is this a virtual event?
It's going to be virtual, yes.
Okay, got it.
It's
All right.
it is the one that I'm talking about now is virtual. I will also be doing some in-person stuff here in the Tampa, Dunedin area. Dates of those to be announced, but this is the first one out of the gate, and it's February 23rd from 10 to 4 Eastern
So
time.
just a month, right? You're going to be doing a 1 day event, teaching sales. It's Sales Accelerator.
It's a
Sky
sales accelerator. So we have a bunch of different topics and a lot of skill practice and some role play,
Oh
etc.
my
And
gosh.
I'll be helping them with some scripting too.
I love that, because I think that that's the one thing that business owners need more than anything is the practice, 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 role play, role play, role play around sales.
Exactly. I mean, how do you get to Carnegie Hall, right?
Yeah, one note
Practice.
at a time.
One note at a time. You got to practice. Yeah,
Gotta
absolutely.
So I put up Jess's PayPal link here. So
It's for the ticket.
it's for the ticket, right? So if you know that sales is a place where you might be lagging, I would say schedule a call with Jess and get that get all that wrapped up into a nice little bow so you can go out there and make the sales that you want to make. So Jess, any final words? I always ask that. Do you have a favorite quote or favorite final advice that you like to give to your clients or anybody?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. There's a couple, but the one that's really coming to mind right now, because I know a lot of people hold back when they're afraid of being seen and being visible. And that's one of the worst things you can do as a business owner, is become invisible, or, duck out of the marketplace for weeks at a time and then keep making a comeback, here and there. So consistency is important. And this is an Arthur Ashe quote that I really love. And I've shared it with people on teams when I worked in corporate America. And it's Arthur Ashe is a tennis player, and it's start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can.
I love that. And you know what? And maybe people don't know, but I never ask people and tell them I'm going to ask them that, right? But everybody has always had something that they go to, or something that really hits them in the heart to keep them moving forward, keeps them motivated in their own business. So, Jess, thank you for being here today. Thank you for sharing your milk crate moment. I am so delighted that I'm so delighted you were able to keep a roof over your head for 3 years in a business like that.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So have a wonderful day, and we will see you later.
Thank you so much, Jean. It was a pleasure and a privilege.